Welcome to the screen, Jesse.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning. Morning. Morning.
Raise your hand if you've ever realized you were in a different conversation than the one you thought you were having. You were talking about dinner plans, but your spouse was talking about their childhood trauma. You were asking a coworker about their next project, and then you found out the blood type of their cat. Many people are in different conversations, sometimes because we're not slowing down enough to ask, what conversation are we in? I've been reading some great books this last summer. You may have heard of The Super Communicator by Charles Duhigg. You may have heard of The Seven Frequencies of Communication by Erwin McManus. Let's Talk Conversations by Jeffrey Fisher. There's some great books out right now, and just kind of mining that data and using that with my clients. I just wanted to speak on communication is everything. How many of you know we have, for the first time ever, five generations working together at one time, and we've never had that before? Do you know that? The boomers, the Xers, the Gen Y, Gen Z, the Alpha, and we say things that are totally different. One night I was in my restaurant and I was speaking and I was using this thing we say from the South when you are at the point of exasperation. And I said, "Good night." And this person in the back, it was actually in the afternoon, this person in the back goes, "Jesse, it's daytime. What are you saying?" So that's just a Southern vernacular. And we have a lot of these things, right, that we say that are very different. And so if you're in Gen X, you might say that concert was rad. If you're a millennial, you might say that show was lit, YOLO. If you're Gen Z, you say no cap, it was giving life. If you're Gen Alpha and you drop a bunch of emojis, you might say, bro, that had mad, I can't even say it. That had max Riz. So we have all these generations talking in different language, different slang, different euphemisms than we've ever had before. So it might behoove us to slow down and push through the enigmatic communication and say, hey, what is the conversation about right now? Charles Duhigg says that basically the conversations are three pieces. Is this a factual conversation? Something about logistics, about the what and the when? Is this about feelings, how we are experiencing something? Or is this about identity, who we are, what we value, and whether we belong? The problem is oftentimes we will answer a feelings question with facts. Your spouse might say, do you even care that you are late? And you might say, well, actually, the traffic was 27% heavier compared to the average commute time that I normally take. All right, so facts don't help the feelings. John Marshall said to listen well is as powerful a means of influence as to talk well. Great communicators don't talk more, they tune in more. So I want to challenge all of us. Let's connect before we communicate. Let's connect before we correct. Let's connect to see what is this conversation that we're having? What does the other person maybe assume that we are talking about? Instead of us assuming, maybe we would ask the question, why are we here today? I think we're talking about this. What do you think that we're talking about? Connect before we deliver the content. Covey said, seek first to understand before you can be understood. My challenge to us today is to slow down and to think about our body posture, think about our tone, think about our words. Do you know how much communication percentage, if we had to break down words, body language, and tone, do you know how much the percentages of words is our communication? Does anybody?
3%.
3%? It's 7%.
Six. Oh, okay.
It's the least amount, right? So tone is 35, body language is 55. So we want to slow down and think about if everything is communication, what am I saying? How am I saying it? And what is the experience I'm giving off with even my body language? I was working yesterday with some special needs students at a high school, and I was working with a coworker who never said hi to anybody the whole time that she came in and worked with us. And so I went up to her and I said, "Hello," like right there, you're real close to her. And then she said, "Oh, hi." And I was like, man, she's communicating so much more than she knows by not communicating with words, but communicating with her body that she's not interested in talking to us as a team. And we had to work together that day. How much communication are you and I giving off that we may not even be aware of because we're not slowing down and thinking, what am I saying? Not just with my words, but with my tone and with my body language. So if conversations come in three flavors, facts, feelings, and identity, what's your next conversation's purpose? Have you thought about it? Brandon Bouchard says before you go into a challenging conversation, you should release tension and set intention. What is this meeting about? How do I want to deliver it? What do I want to feel when it's over? What do I want to be accomplished when it's done? And maybe to check in with the other person at the end of the meeting, I would say, hey, what did we discuss today? Just so that we can be clear, because clarity is kind, because assumptions are like a lot of things. We have a lot of those, right? So we want to check in and connect before we deliver content. As George Bernard Shaw said, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. Communication isn't everything until it breaks down, and then you realize it really is everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse.